Hi there, it's Martin back again with a video in which I'm going to talk to you about how we manage asbestos, or even manage the potential risk of asbestos in a property that we are thinking of refurbishing, reconfiguring, or indeed actually demolishing. Now, I'm sure you don't need a lot of introduction to asbestos. I'm sure you're well aware that it was a product that we used in construction up until about the 1990s that has subsequently been proven to be seriously harmful to health. Effectively, it's got tiny little particles in it that are so small that they can get into your lungs and cause a form of cancer. And sadly, a lot of people have died from asbestosis as a result of inhaling these little pieces of the microfiber that goes into asbestos. Now, you might be saying, well, how does that affect you as a property investor? How does that affect me as a property investor, as a construction consultant? The answer to that is that we need to be aware before anyone works in our buildings whether there is any asbestos in that building. Now, if the building has been built in the last 25 years or so, then we know the answer to that is no. But any building built before about the early 1990s has the potential of having asbestos in it. So when we take over a new building that we want to carry out any work in, because we are commercial owners and we are buying these properties on a commercial basis to make money, we need to act responsibly. And to act responsibly, we need to engage an asbestos surveying company to do a full survey of our building to establish if there's any asbestos in the building. In smaller residential dwellings or more modern residential dwellings, the chances are fairly low. But if we're getting involved with more complex residential dwellings, perhaps larger houses which might have had more complex heating systems, or indeed we're getting towards commercial buildings, then we can have quite a lot of asbestos. I'll touch on where that asbestos may be shortly. So the key thing is that we've brought in a surveyor who will establish where this asbestos is, and they will put together a report telling us what the asbestos is, the grade of the asbestos, where it is, and what we need to do to deal with it, which in many cases is complete removal, but in some cases it can be retained. It really depends, but in most cases it's going to be complete removal. Kinds of places that we're going to find asbestos, the common one in residential properties is within what we'd call Artex ceilings and Artex walls, and you've seen those rough textured ceilings and walls. There were some versions of that Artex type product that did contain asbestos, and therefore that needs to be removed by a specialist. You could easily find asbestos flues coming out of old-fashioned boilers. You could find asbestos panels behind the electricity meter or the electricity distribution board. And there's also asbestos in small traces in some types of vinyl floor tiles. Beyond that, you can find it in lagging and around heating pipes. You can find it in boilers, and in commercial buildings you can find it in untoward places because you don't always know how the building was used in the past. Generally, it's been used as a fire prevention type thing, but it was also used as a kind of general construction kind of product. So you've got your surveyor in, they've done your report, they've told you how to deal with it. You now need to deal with it in the correct way. Bring in a specialist typically to remove the asbestos for you, or as I say, in some places it can be left, but generally with a label which your asbestos surveying company will help you deal with and help you understand what you're dealing with. Once the asbestos is removed, you then need to get what we call a clean air certificate. That's a certificate to say that the asbestos has been removed by a specialist, that they've taken it away to an approved place where they can dispose of it. And importantly, your property now has no asbestos in it. And what will happen is later on down the line, when you appoint a CDM health and safety consultant, one of the questions they'll ask you is, have you had a risk survey carried out, and have you removed the asbestos? And of course you can say that you absolutely have, or they will prompt you to do it if you haven't done that already. And when a builder starts, you can say to the builder, it's fine, you can get on with work in this house safely, in this property safely, because there is no asbestos. Here is the certificate that confirms that it was all removed earlier this year, or whatever the case may be. So I hope that has just sown a few seeds for you relating to asbestos. It is a serious thing that we need to consider. It's not something to treat lightly, but it's also not something that necessarily is too difficult to deal with. However, do factor in some cost for the survey and the potential removal later on. If this video has been of use to you, I'd really love it if you'd just click on the like and give me the thumbs up to it. You're welcome to share it, and of course leave any kind of comment. If there's anything I can help you with relating to asbestos, then post a comment below and I'll come back to you with a reply. Otherwise, I look forward to catching up with you on another video very soon.